Hi guys, my name is Sabrina and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another zodiac drawing and this time it's going to be Aries, so let's get on to it. With another month well on its way, it is time to do another zodiac drawing, and this month it is time for Aries. And being an Aries myself, I was hoping I could make this quite nice, but I actually struggled with how I had to do things. I wasn't quite sure. So the first thing I did is I started on a sketchbook that I have at the side of me, and I just made a general idea of what I think I wanted to do. So I knew I wanted to do a girl with, of course, the horns. And then I came across an idea where I was like, oh, that might be really nice, where she's holding a sheep. And I just thought it was adorable, very cute, also very farmsy though. And I haven't really made any characters in that kind of setting, so I wasn't quite sure how to go ahead with this and how to proceed and how to quite make this. So I made a lot of changes, as you can see in the sketch phase. I also wanted to make sure that her pose was a little bit different than any other things I've done so far, because I didn't want to have my poses being very static and the same every single time. So I was like, what can I do to improve that, to make it look different and fun and all those things and just stand out. So that's why I had her sitting down on a wooden bench and holding a sheep that way. I'm just enjoying the fact that the sheep is licking her cheek, and I just thought it was so adorable and so cute. And then I came up with the idea of her being underneath or like inside one of those arches, and I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, so correct me if I'm wrong, and apologies if I like totally butchered that, but sure, we'll be okay. And I wanted to have a background for this piece as well, because I haven't really made many backgrounds in my artwork, so I really wanted to make sure that this time that I would have a background in there. And the background, again, as you can see, there are so many changes going on in this art piece. And that is because I struggled a little bit with how to work and how to do this. And just coming up with ideas for this, I found it harder than usual for some reason. And I don't know why. I guess I just wasn't inspired enough to come up with something at the first go. And sometimes you just need to work it out and try a number of different things. So that's what I've done here. I put a field of corn behind her because, again, she came across as a bit more farmsy to me, and I just thought it was so adorable, and that's why I did the corn behind her and some basic clouds, and then I wanted to have like just the sky behind that. So that's what I went for here. And when I started coloring her in, I wanted to have her a nice warm skin tone, and that's why I went for this color, and I absolutely love how that turned out. I think it is so nice. And again, sometimes it might look too much or too little when you look at the colors with like a white background, when it's just line art and there's nothing else colored in. But wait until you see the finished piece. And I've had this with previous pieces as well, where things just look so grey, for example, and then the piece is done and you're like, oh yeah, that actually, it works. And it doesn't look so bad now because it's surrounded by all those other colors. So that's what I went for here. And I've not worked with this color for a long time, for starters. And I don't work with this color often, so it was a little tricky to make sure that everything was perfect and blended perfectly. And I think the hardest bit was the blush color, because the blush color is so red, it's literally just a red. But I wanted her to have a blush on the places where I always give blush, and I wanted it to look right as well. So I hope that I managed to do that, and that it still looks right. But it was so much fun to do, and even though it looks a bit patchy when I first start out with this, when I go over it with another layer, it's much better already, and you can see the changes in there, and it really will work, even though it just looks a bit odd. So you just have to wait until it's like a bit blended out and everything, and then it works. So that's what I went for with the skin tones. I really like the warmth of it, as I said. And then I moved on to the background. Now, I've had a comment before where someone said that the background was looking almost white, and I did not want that to happen. I did not want it to look white, and I took that, I don't want to say to heart, but I did take that with me, and I tried to improve my work accordingly. So what I have done is I went over with the lightest blue that I have, and then I colored everything in. But then once that was done, I went over at the top with a slightly darker blue and colored in like the top section. And then how I've done it is, once I'm at the section that I want to overlap with the lighter section, I like pull the marker down so that it like fades a little as well, so it's not like harsh lines that you still have to try and blend in. So that's how I've done it, and then I went over it with the lighter color in the same kind of movement to try and blend everything together, and I think that worked quite well as well. I'm quite happy with how that looks, and I'm kind of trying to do it that way now. I'm trying to make sure that I always have a darker area and a lighter area in the sky so that it doesn't look one color, because skies are not one color. And again, that person wasn't entirely wrong. I should have used a darker color to make sure that it was a sky and that they could see it and things like that. So that's why I always am trying to take your advice and feedback, and hope I can apply that in my art pieces as well. Now, of course, I have to see that it actually would make sense, and in this case, yeah, he made sense there. Like, I saw exactly what he meant, and well, I think it was a he, I'm not 100% sure because it was on the internet, and you don't know who's behind the keyboard, so don't know. But that's why I incorporated that as well, and it was just a teaching moment, so that was good. So thank you for that advice, I appreciate it. Also, if you have any feedback while watching this video, please leave it down below in the comments, because I'm always looking to improve myself, and I'd love to hear what you think, so let me know down below. Thank you. So once that was done, I had to shade in the horns and the hair of the character, and what I tend to do now is, when I do dark hair, I tend to go for a dark brown base, well, the darkest brown that I kind of have, and then go over it with a gray color and then a black color, and then blend it in with a brown again. And I think that works quite nicely. I've not ever made curly hair before though, so that was a little tricky to do. I love how it looks. However, I really like the poofiness and how it just, oh, I just love it. I really do. I really like how it looks. And then the horns, I am not a person who's drawn many animals or horns for that matter. So I just had to wing this, and I did it by using a warmer gray and had 3 different shades to color it in. So that's what I've done, and I think it works quite well as well. I think it looks quite nice, and I think in the end everything just mashed together in a good way, and the colors just seem to work, so I'm glad I picked the colors that I did, so I'm happy with that. For the sheep, I wanted to make sure, obviously I'm not done with it yet, but for the fur I just wanted to make sure that it had the same warm gray as the girl's horns, and use the different colors to basically give it a bit of shade as well, and have the light coming in at the right side of the character too. So that's what I went for with that, and then it was time for the background. And oh my goodness, the downside of using your iPad for the background is that you can zoom in. While some may think that is a really handy thing to have. While I agree with that, it is also not very handy at times, because when I made the corn, I made it too small. And well, no, I don't want to say too small, but I made it small enough where I was like, okay, where I really have to pay attention to where I'm putting things down now, because I don't want to go over the lines, and this is quite a finicky job. And when something is a finicky job, it takes forever to do properly. And even though that is not necessarily bad, it requires a bit more attention. So I had to do that, but I colored it in with a few different shades of green, because I wanted to have like a shadowy effect there as well. I didn't want to have it too bad though. And in hindsight, I should have gone over this with pencils. I don't know why I didn't do this, but sure. And then the corn, I used 2 colors of yellow and an orange, just because I liked how it looks, and I just wanted to have some extra shading in there. And then it came to her outfit, and I wanted her to have like a nice bright outfit and a bit with contrasting colors as well. So I gave her denim shorts, and I gave her a pinkish red top. So done that and shaded everything in. I'm super happy with how it looks, and I'm just doing finishing touches here now. So I wanted to make sure that the sheep had like a ping tongue of course, and that everything just made sense. And I'm not even done yet. Like, I'm talking about it as if I'm done yet, but I'm not. And I wanted the sheep to be dark as well. I just really liked how that looks. So done that, gave him black feet, and they're so cute and so adorable. And this picture makes me want to hug a sheep as well, if they were as cute as this. So maybe I shouldn't do that, but yeah, just so nice and adorable. Then for the wood bench that she's sitting on, I'm naming it a bench. It could be a bench. I kind of envision it as a bench, and I wanted to make sure that it had some grain in it, like a wood grain. And then I went over it with like a lighter brownish color as well. So you can still see the grain in there, but then it's kind of blended out and it's still very visible. So that's what I went for here. Now, I did not cut the picture off at the bottom, so you don't see like a dark black line at the bottom to make sure that it's like framed in and everything. So that's why the color is just, you know, stop there and no further. But that's what I went for here. But yeah, I quite like how the bench works out and how it looks, and just a total picture. So I'm quite happy with my Aries this month. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. I hope you liked my version of Aries, and yeah, just showing you guys all my Copic markers that I've used too, because there can be a lot. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.